report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and FD tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live, the Season 6 finale of FRL. I'm Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. Thanks for joining us. One last time back in the sound room, it's TK and Heavy D. We'll be joining those two guys here in just a little bit. And Ken, tonight we wrap things up. We're going to talk a little state baseball, talk a little state track and field, and a little later in the program, we're going to be chatting with not only one of the best runners in Ohio, not only one of the best runners in the United States, one of the best runners in the world.
You're right there, Craig. You know, first of all, really looking forward to talking some baseball. Of course, our Russia Raiders, they went through a tough regional, tough tournament trail, really, you know, and beat Fort Laramie, Newark Catholic last week, and just been a lot of fun. Been a great ride for Coach Flippo and his team here, and looking forward to getting back on it Friday afternoon when they take on Dalton. Also, Craig, going to be talking some state track. A lot of good local qualifiers running this weekend over at the Jesse Owens, and we're going to see what some of our predictions are and who we feel are some of the favorites for this coming weekend big state track meet, Craig. And then, like you said, we're going now, and we're going to talk to Clayton Murphy, professional runner for Nike, Ohio High School Athletic Association state champion. He was an NCAA champion. He was an Olympic medalist. He's been at Pan Am Games world champion. Craig, phenomenal runner. He's young. He's having a phenomenal career. Can't wait to talk to him here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, awfully excited for that interview. I've been thinking about this one since you announced it last week on this show. But before we get to that, just like we do here every week on FRL, we have our weekly poll question. What's the last weekly poll question, Ken?
All right, Craig. Well, we're going to ask our viewers out there, which last name appears on all Russia State tournament teams in 1971, 75, and 17. I will tell our viewers out there may be more than one correct answer here. So which one of these last names, all common Russia last names, Cordonier, Francis, Coverman, or Monin? So our viewers out there, you know, pick one, pick two, maybe pick three of them names, and which one of them appears on all three state qualifying baseball teams.
Fun question there, Ken. And if you're watching us on your computer right now on the Fish Report Live page, you can scroll down, help us answer tonight's poll question, and check the results. If you're watching us on NK Telco cable television, we'll have those results for you at the end of the show. All right, let's get things started, Ken. Let's bring in those sound room guys and say hello to TK and Heavy D one last time. And look at Heavy D getting all patriotic on us tonight.
Yes, he is. And, you know, I'm not sure if it's for the Tri-Village Patriots or maybe it's for Clayton and the U.S. Success he's had, but I think that's what it's probably for.
Well, we're coming off Memorial Day, guys. God bless our fallen. And got Clayton Murphy, Olympic medalist, on here, so it seemed appropriate.
You look great. Bit of everything.
You look great, Heavy D.
All right, guys. Well, I imagine when the baseball fans from around Ohio looked at the D4 state bracket, they probably looked at Russia and Minster. Fort Laramie's in between those two towns, but looked at those two towns and probably thought, how the heck did two teams so 12 miles apart get to be in the state tournament together? It might be a little surprised with that, but guys, we're not surprised at all with that, are we?
I'm not surprised. I'm not sure about the Sounder guys, but you know, two great baseball programs. They played very good quality competition all year. You know, both teams play a lot of MAC schools, a lot of Shelby County League schools, and you know, when you play teams like that, Craig, it really prepares you for the postseason. And you know, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Minster kind of got off to a slow start, Craig, but you know, they were coming off you know, some injuries, and it just takes a while to get things going. They've got a lot of three-sport athletes there that do football, basketball, baseball, and just took them a little while to get going. But, boy, once they got it going, they're playing extremely well. Coach Flippo's team, he's had great pitching all year, Craig. He's had great hitting. His team is just making the plays right now, and congratulations to both those schools. And wouldn't that be a classic to see them both meet each other in the state championship game?
Well, guys, I mentioned Fort Laramie. Of course, that was Rushie's first regional semifinal game, a team that had beaten Rushie twice during the regular season. They were getting ready for the sweep. Rushie wins that ball game, then comes back and faces a team with probably the richest tradition in Ohio in Newark Catholic, won the last 2 state titles, beat them. TK, Heavy D, you were there. I mean, what was your thoughts on both those victories?
Yeah, just kind of the comment about the teams in this area in Rushie and Minster. This area is rich in baseball tradition. Just look at the state championships over the years between Fort Laramie, Minster, Anna, Rushie. This area of the Ohio has got a lot of great historical baseball teams, and you look at when the kids start like in kindergarten, and the dads are out there throwing, and they're engaged at a young age, and it only makes sense. And we're at the middle of Ohio, so it makes sense that northern region and southern region send a lot of good teams to the postseason.
As far as that game, the Newark game after the Laramie win, the team could have easily just got really high after that Laramie win. Obviously a big local rivalry, and coming back after basically 4 losses in a row, you put together 2 seasons. But I think that's the character of the team. Day in and day out, it's different players. It's a team effort. Probably a lot like Minster, not a lot of 1 or 2 stars that stand out around the team, but everybody's always has some effort in there, and you never know one game to the next who's really going to stand up and get the 3 for 3 from the plate or make the big play in the outfield. So I think that's really helped Rushie. Again, you can't plan to do this, but they've learned how to come from behind, winning 7 games with their last at bat this year. So they never feel now like they're ever out of a game, which is a great confidence booster. Coming into a tournament when you never feel like you're out of a game, that's huge, because that pressure begins to build in that 4th, 5th inning. If you're down and you realize you're down to the last couple 6, 9 outs, and know that you can probably get some hits and squeeze some runs in.
I couldn't agree more, guys. You said something, TK, about a lot of people contributing in that district game against Newton, the number 3 ranked team in Ohio. It was a guy like Dion Put off the shortstop going 4 for 4. Then the next game in the semifinals, I want to say maybe Kevin Drees was 3 for 3 in that game, perhaps. Yeah. And then you had Dylan Cadonier doing it in the Newark game, going 3 for 3 in that game with a big double there. So yeah, contributions from everybody on the mound: Hunter Cohey, Daniel Kearns, guys like that. It's just been coming from everywhere, and that's what it takes to be successful.
Yes, it does, Craig. Coach Flippo's, he's got him gelling right now, and like you said, big wins this year. The big 10-inning win against Lehman, can't forget that one. Jack Dayport coming in relief, pitching almost 5 innings of shutout baseball in relief. It's been somebody new every night. So hopefully the Raiders can get a couple more wins this weekend. I know one thing, that the fans are excited. They're going to be there in full support, and we wish them the best of luck.
And wouldn't that be something to see a Minster Rushie final in that? And one story I got to tell you, there's been so much said about it being 42 years for Rushie getting back to the state tournament. Last time they did it was 75 when they were the state runners-up. Of course, in 71, they won it all. But I was taking a phone call today at my other job outside of Fish Report Live, and I had a guy call me from Texas, and he says, I know where Rush is at up there. And I said, well, how do you know where Rushie's at? He says, well, I actually went to Lucasville High School, and he said, we played you guys back in 1975 in baseball. And he said, by the way, how are them Raiders, how they've been playing these days? I said, you're not going to believe this. I said, we've waited 42 years to get back to that state tournament after playing you guys. I said, it's happening this weekend. I said, this weekend we're going to the state tournament. I said, first time since we played you guys back in 75. He couldn't believe me. He couldn't believe what I was telling him.
That's a good story right there. And there's a lot of karma playing into this team this year, Craig, and hopefully we can bring home the big one.
All right, guys. Well, again, number 8 Minster takes on number 1 Toronto Friday at 10 a.m. That's followed at 1 p.m. by Rushie versus Dalton. The winners of those 2 games play the state championship Saturday at 4 p.m. Looking forward to that. Guys, let's jump ahead and talk a little state track while we're in Columbus, and a lot of local athletes in the SCAL, the MAC, the CCC, the surrounding area that will be competing at Jesse Odom Stadium this Friday and Saturday. I know a lot of them expect to do well, but I want to ask you guys, give me somebody you think can win it. Somebody that you think is capable of winning a state title. Heavy D, I'll start with you. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I've been watching this young lady since she was a freshman. Let's talk about Rushie's senior Grace York and what she can do in the 800. Grace is peaking at the right time. Last week she broke the 800-meter school record held by Katie Borchers, who went on to a pretty outstanding career, Ohio State and an All-American. Grace had the fastest 800 time of all 4 regions last week, and let's look for Grace to do something special this weekend.
Yeah, good call on that one, Heavy D. She does have the fastest time coming in. I think she's going to get a little challenge from a gal from St. Thomas Aquinas. She will have a couple teammates running with her there. She's also running in the 4x8 on Friday morning with a classmate of hers, Shay Gubo, who's meant a lot to that Rushi program over the years. And then she has another classmate, Cole Tabby, that's going to be in the hurdles, as well as a junior there, Emily Bowman, that's going to be competing in the pole vault. So looking forward to all those Rushi athletes competing this Friday and Saturday. TK, what about you?
I'm watching the Anna girls relays, the 4x1, 4x2, and 4x4. Anna's got the Shoemaker sisters, Rachel and Hannah. They've got Krista Garrett and Kennedy Glover, and they have the fastest times in the state right now in those 3 events. Things play well, and they make their handoffs clean. You could see them take the trifecta, and there's 30 points as a team, and that's a lot of points when you get to a state track meet. Not a guarantee of a win, but that's a lot of points. Yeah. So I'm really excited about watching these girls and see what they can pull off in those 3 races.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I got the 3 fastest times there in the sprint relays, we'll call it, with the 4 same girls. That's impressive.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive. Ken, what about you? Who you watching?
Well, Craig, we're talking about relays. When you got to look at the 4x8 relay, it's always one of my favorite races. I know it's one of your favorite races. Rushi girls will be in that. They're always very competitive. As a matter of fact, I think they won state in that one year, didn't they, Heavy D?
Yep, they might have. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I think they did. So, anyways, no. But this year, I look at the Minster girls. They got a great team this year. They've been dominant all year in this particular race, and I like the team of Cassidy Francis, Caitlin Albers, Emma Watke, and Madeline Magato. I think that's going to be the team to beat in the 4x8.
Yeah, very good there. They come in with a top time too, Ken. Going to get a challenge again from those girls from St. Thomas Aquinas. They've got a very good 4x8 team there as well. But, a good call on that one. And, you guys have been talking about girls here. I'm going to talk about boys and the Fort Laramie boys. They're a team that I'm going to be watching. I went out on a limb last week and predicted at the Troy Regional that Purcell Marion would win that regional and Fort Laramie would come in second. Fort Laramie actually went ahead and won that regional, won their first regional title ever. So congratulations to them. I'm calling it now, guys. The Fort Laramie boys got 10 athletes running 10 events. I think they won the D3 title this weekend. So I think I just heard a cheer up north on State Route 66 there at Al's Bar and Grill.
I think I heard one as well. So.
Yeah, good stuff there, and looking forward to both baseball and track and field in Columbus this weekend. So a lot of fun coming up for that. But we're going to take a short break here, but stay right there. You're not going to want to miss this, folks. Going to talk some more track and field after the break, and we're going to talk to that Olympic bronze medalist, Clayton Murphy. Don't miss it.
USA! USA! Stage at the leaving van. Music starts at 8 o'clock. You can find us here every Wednesday night. It's usually the same cats every week, but I can't tell you all their names. Teacher, cat, and a junkie, all waiting for time to play. Everybody here's got something that we're trying to leave behind. We're all a questions. We're all here just looking for a high. And we're all beautifully broken here tonight.
Well, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live, everyone. Before the break, we were talking some state baseball and some state track and field. And Ken, our next guest is a 2013 alum of Tri-Village High School, where he won a state title in the 1,600-meter run, a record that still stands today. He later started at the University of Akron, where he won NCAA titles in the 800 and the 1,500-meter runs. He won a gold medal at the Pan Am Games, and you may remember he won a bronze medal at the Rio Olympics. He set all kinds of records along the way. We welcome to the program now Mr. Clayton Murphy. Clayton, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, listen, I just rattled off a list of accomplishments, just a few of your accomplishments over the years. And, you know, of everything you've done on the racetrack, which of those medals or which of those memories, Clayton, do you cherish the most?
Oh, for sure, the bronze medal. I think every athlete that's in an Olympic sport dreams about being in the Olympics, let alone winning a medal. And so that's been a dream of mine with athletics ever since I started really taking it serious. And so for sure, walking with the medal from the Rio Olympics was, it's for sure topping that list, staying on the podium, crossing that line. There's not many feelings that compare to that in life.
All right, well, listen, we've interviewed you a couple times over the years. As a matter of fact, the last time I think we talked to you maybe was in 2012 after running in the OHSAA State Cross Country Meet. I believe we have a little video of that we're showing on our monitor here right now. But, you know, back then, Clayton, when you were in high school, I mean, did you have visions of running professionally like you do now?
I don't think I really did in high school. I think it kind of developed about sophomore year of college when I really started looking at taking things to the next step beyond collegiate or scholastic running. So when I was in high school, it was more or less at that point, sophomore, junior, senior year was trying to create an opportunity for a scholarship or an opportunity to go compete at the next level, at the NCAA level. So there wasn't too many ambitions to go professional at that level. I think my entire career has been taking things in steps, and in high school, the next step was the NCAA level. So I think at that point, I was focused on one goal, and that was obviously the task at hand of OHSAA, districts, regionals, conference at the high school level, and then looking at trying to run collegiately.
Clayton, hi, this is Ken Francis. We certainly remember you as a star at Tri-Village. Remember all the cross-country meets, whether it was at Eaton or Troy or wherever we might have watched you run. And then when you stepped foot onto the Akron campus, things really seemed to catapult you to the next level. What can you attribute your success to at Akron that brought you into that next level?
I think just being around the support staff like I had, from Coach LeBady to the trainers to the athletic department to my teammates, everybody was supportive of what I was doing, and everybody had the same kind of goal to be the best and kind of take everything to the next level. And I kind of just got into that system and started feeding into that system and drinking the water at Akron and drinking that like championship spirit they had there in the track and field. They'd already started before I got there, and so I think I came through with a bunch of great people in that class I came in with, and from sprints to jumps, we were breaking records and trying to win conference titles as a group, and I think that really motivated me to really take everything I had to the next level, not just for myself, but then for my teammates around me and my support staff I had there. And then obviously Coach LeBady was a huge part of that, still is a huge part of everything that I do. So having a guy like that with so much experience and trust in me, and I ended up trusting him as much as I do now, it's a great relationship we had, and it's developed ever since I got there at Akron.
Clayton, let's talk a little bit about the Rio Olympics. Obviously, like you said, the highlight of your career so far. You know, we were watching you back here in Little Russia, Ohio. You were competing against some of the names that are well known to runners throughout the world. What made it so tough for a local farm boy in rural Ohio to be competing against these world-class runners at the Rio Olympics?
I think you got to put yourself in the same boat as everybody else when you're on that level. So I think what made it more difficult for me is it was my first Olympics and only second international competition, major international competition, compared to those guys who've been in 7, 8, 9, even 10 Olympics or World Championships in their life. So they had a lot more international, major international experience than I did. So I think that was the biggest factor I ran into, trying to put myself on their level with just the experience they had. A lot of them come from small communities all over the world, and so I had the Ohio support and the small farm town support for sure. But when you get to that level, I got to kind of put my history aside and really look at putting myself on the same level as everybody else and just enjoying the moment being there.
Clayton, from a media standpoint, as we're viewing the Olympics in Rio, a lot of emphasis was put on the poor living conditions for the athletes at the Rio Games. Could you share a little bit of your thoughts on that? Did you see a lot of that? Was it as bad as what the media made it look, or were things really not so bad?
Things were great, and obviously I'm a little biased because I really enjoyed my experience. But I ran into no issues. I enjoyed Rio. Traveled all over Rio. Didn't have any problems using Uber, taxi to get anywhere. The dorm, the village was fine. I mean, obviously they were brand new, so some rooms had some minor issues, a pipe like leaking here, or the shower drain, or something minor. But they're going to have that in whatever country you're in, whatever new facility you build. Not a lot of time, but I had no issues. USOC staff took care of us. The United States Olympic Committee took care of us, did whatever we needed to get done. Had sheets and pillows extra for us. Whatever we needed, USOC took care of it for us. And even the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, was helping take care of athletes who needed anything or something wasn't right for them. So there was the issues that they brought up were never saw the water issues, pollution issues, and safety issues. There was nothing came up that he even talked about before.
Clayton, I've got one more question before I turn it back over to Craig. Talk a little bit about your professional runner. You've signed with Nike. You're professional now. What kind of obligations is Clayton Murphy under your contract that you can share with us and our viewers? Do you have to do so many events? Do you have to train so much, or what's all involved with your Nike contract?
There's some requirements with it, but as long as you're running well, competing on a regular basis, there's not really a whole lot said. So as long as you're running fast, competing well, and running races on a regular basis, there's not many requirements to be met. There's some very, very basic requirements, but unless you're hurt or pretty much just boycotting running, you're going to meet those requirements in your contract. They're pretty much there for legal reasons, but with that, it's pretty much Nike signed you for a reason because they have a lot of faith in you to run fast and trust in your training and trust in your coach, trust in everything you do. So they kind of let it into your hands, knowing that you're a grown person and an adult can make decisions for yourself as to where to compete and when to compete. And as long as you're running fast and running fast times and making teams and winning medals, there's not a whole lot said. Now, if you're obviously struggling or not competing for whatever reason, they might have an obligation to step in and say, hey, you need to do so-and-so or do this and this. But they're obviously, you're an investment for them, so they need one to return on their investment. So there's not a whole lot of obligations or requirements as a professional athlete. It's a lot in your hands, your coach, and your agent's hands.
Simple enough. Hey, and I got a couple quick questions for you, Clayton. I know a lot of people back home enjoy following your career, whether it's on television or whether they're reading about you in the newspaper. But there's some other local athletes that ran in high school when you did, and they're making the news occasionally too. Guys like Sam Prakel up there at Oregon, and a couple, I guess you call them teammates of yours over there at Akron, Jackie Seifring and Tara Snipes back there at Akron. Are you able to keep up with their careers like they're able to keep up with your career?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of connected, and obviously being on the same team as those two, we were also able to stay in contact. With me being away from a year now, I've been able to see that they have both competed well at conference championships, and obviously Jackie has NCAAs coming up. And then last summer at NCAA finals was the first time I'd raced Sam on the track since high school, and so that was the first time we were able to really compete against each other. But no, I stayed in contact with Sam and been able to kept up with Sam ever since freshman year. We've kind of kept up with each other and stayed in touch. So we still are in touch up to today.
All right, and one last question. It's a big weekend back home here, and that's because the state track and field championships are coming up. You certainly had a lot of success there. Clayton, for our track and field viewers that are watching the show tonight, is there any advice that you could give these athletes for this weekend from a guy that's been there, from a guy that's set records, from a guy that's won a title? What advice would you give those athletes this weekend? I
think you just got to accept the fact that everybody's going to be nervous. One, you're going to you're going to be nervous, but as long as you don't put too much pressure on yourself and kind of just enjoy the moment, a little bit of nervousness is good. I think everybody's got to kind of accept that. And two, just like I said, enjoy the moment. You're only there so many times, and you just got to enjoy the moment that you're in. And you don't know how many more times you're going to be at a state meet, especially if you're a senior or junior. So just to kind of enjoy the moment you're in, do what you can, and obviously just give it your all, because you never know if it's your last track meet.
Clayton with us, and that's all great stuff. Here at Fish Report, we know you're an awful busy guy out there. We know you're out west right now. I'm sure you got a lot of training to do, a lot of events, a lot of things to do. But from Fish Report Live, we really, really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight, and wish you the best of luck. We're following you. We're rooting for you. And, you're making small-town Ohio very, very proud. Keep it up, and go Clayton Murphy, go USA.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Good luck to everybody competing this weekend.
Thank you, Clayton.
Thank you, Clayton.
All right, that was Olympic bronze medalist and Tri-Village alum Clayton Murphy. Quite a story there, Ken.
Yes, it is, Craig. Really, really neat to have him on our show. We've had him on our show once or twice before, and what a great guy. Very humble. To take time out of his busy schedule. Like I said, I know he's out west. I know he's participating in some Nike events this weekend, and but he took time out. He took time to call us and to be on our show and give us his report to our viewers, and really happy to have him.
Yeah, me too. And one more thing to get to tonight, Ken, and that is our poll question. So why don't you read it for our viewers again, and we'll check in with the guys on the telemetrics.
Well, we'll spin back to baseball on our poll question here, and we're talking Russia baseball, which, of course, will be appearing this weekend in the 2017 state baseball tournament. But which of these common names or name appeared on all three of Russia's state tournament teams in 1971, 75, and 2017? Is it Cordonier, Francis, Coverman, or Monin? Which of those three, TK? What are our listeners saying out there anyways? And we'll give you the answer.
Well, our listeners think it's a three-way tie. Francis, Coverman, and Monin.
Well, you know what? I think from my research and from what I've heard, that three-way tie is correct. I think those are the three names that appeared on all three rosters. It's
amazing that Codonier's not as big a name that is around Russia, and as big a baseball name that is. That's not one. We know that for sure.
Yeah, right, because they had one in 71, of course, we know, and I know they got one in 17, but unless they can come up with somebody in 2000 or in 1975, yeah. But Coverman, I know, that one was on, and Francis was on, and so was Monin. So
yeah, that's a good question to end our season 6, the season finale question. So great stuff, guys. And listen, that's about going to wrap it up for us tonight. Another season in the books. Listen, we talked to a lot of great athletes, a lot of great coaches and media people here since last fall. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I did. We had a great time. I know the Soundroom guys, I'd like to give them a shout out back there. Craig, you and I do a lot of the talking here, but we couldn't do anything if it wasn't for TK and Heavy D back here in the Soundroom. And also like to give a little shout out to Ross. He fills in a lot for us whenever one of us can't make it, and so he's a big help as well.
Yeah, he certainly is. And listen, for one last time, it's for Ken Francis, for TK, and for Heavy D, I'm Craig Fissinger saying thanks for tuning in, everyone, to another season of Fish Report Live, and have a great summer.
Don't need no pull when you tune in to the Fish Report. Hanging at the fish.